On the morning of March 16, 2012, a housekeeper at the Crossroads Motel in Flagstaff knocked on the door of room 14 for routine cleaning. After no response, she entered with a passkey and found a horrific scene. Elaine Shaw, a 45-year-old traveling artist from Nevada, lay dead on the bed. Her wrists and ankles were tied with bedsheets, her mouth gagged, and her body bore signs of a violent struggle. The room had been ransacked, drawers pulled open, and her suitcase emptied on the floor. There were no signs of forced entry. The door had been locked from the inside. Police were immediately called. Elaine was a nomadic artist and jewelry designer who often stayed in roadside motels while selling handmade pieces at craft fairs across the Southwest. She was staying in Flagstaff for a weekend event at Heritage Square. Friends described her as free-spirited, cautious, and deeply private. She traveled alone but always kept in touch with family via email and phone. She hadn't checked in with anyone in over 24 hours. Her phone, cash, and a few pieces of expensive turquoise jewelry were missing from the scene. Detectives first suspected a robbery. Elaine was known to carry several $1,000s in cash from sales. But something didn't sit right. The bindings were crude, but the knots were complex. Not the work of someone acting in panic. Security footage from the motel revealed a blurry figure entering her room late the night of March 15th, around 11:45 p.m. But the footage was grainy. The person wore a hood and gloves. No vehicle could be identified. The killer had left behind no fingerprints, no DNA, no obvious clues. Among Elaine's belongings was a travel journal filled with sketches and notes. One entry, dated the day before her death, read, "Met an interesting guy at the cafe, claims to be a gem buyer. Says he's heading to New Mexico tomorrow, might show him my stuff tonight." This line became the first real lead. Police canvassed local cafes and found a barista, who remembered a man sitting with Elaine for over an hour. He paid in cash, said his name was Rick, and wore a leather jacket with a red scorpion on the back. That jacket proved to be the breakthrough. Using the partial description, detectives cross-referenced local arrest records. One name surfaced, Richard Rick Mallory, 39, with a prior arrest for theft and impersonating a jewelry buyer at a Tucson Gem Expo. Richard had no fixed address but was known to drift between Arizona and New Mexico. A BOLO, be on the lookout alert, was issued statewide. 3 weeks later, in Albuquerque, a pawnshop reported someone trying to sell turquoise jewelry with unusual, custom-stamped markings. The seller, Richard Mallory. He was arrested on the spot. Police recovered 2 rings and a pendant, confirmed by Elaine's sister to be her designs. Richard initially denied knowing Elaine. But surveillance from the motel, witness testimony from the cafe, and possession of stolen goods cornered him. Faced with the evidence, he confessed. Richard had met Elaine and posed as a gem dealer to gain her trust. That night, he went to her room under the pretense of viewing her work. He tied her up under the guise of a theft protection demonstration he claimed jewelers used, then strangled her when she resisted. He stole her jewelry and cash and fled the state, dumping some items in dumpsters to avoid detection. In 2014, after a lengthy trial, Richard Mallory was found guilty of first-degree murder, robbery, and false imprisonment. His defense argued that the murder was not premeditated, but prosecutors presented a detailed pattern of deception and intent. Elaine's family, especially her younger brother David, spoke movingly at sentencing about the joy she brought to others through her art and her wanderlust spirit. The judge sentenced Richard to life in prison without the possibility of parole.